going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market absolutely crushed it today, guys. Yet again, S&P 500 up 74 points, up 2.2%. The Dow Jones ended up going up 370 points, up 1.3%. And the NASDAQ 100, get this, guys, up 500 points, up almost 4.5% on the day. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over a bunch of stocks that I'm looking to buy right now. And I also want to go over the election, talk about some things there, what I personally did in the markets today, some earnings reports, as well as where my head is at in the stock market right now. So if you guys find value in the video, hit the like button. Let's try to get 400 likes on this video. I challenge you guys, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And if you guys want to join the Strive Smart community, the links are down below, and you could also get 3 free stocks from WeBull valued up to $1,600. And hey guys, who doesn't like some free money? So all you have to do is deposit $100. You get 3 free stocks, and I also get 3 free stocks since it is an affiliate link. So let's chat, guys. We have a bunch to talk about in this video. My notes are jam-packed, and let's try and get it in under 30 minutes. Let's see if we can do it. So S&P 500, 2.2%, up 74 points. And if you guys were watching the election yesterday, I'm assuming 99% of you guys were, you saw how President Trump actually was doing a lot better than what the polls were predicting, right? We saw a prediction of a landslide Biden victory, and as Trump was doing a lot better than expected, the market futures, do you guys remember last night? The market futures were exploding. Not so much the Dow and the S&P, but the NASDAQ futures were exploding. And on top of having, we'll talk about this in a little bit, the fact that the Congress could remain split. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that also ended up pushing up a lot of big tech names and the NASDAQ futures in general. So we got Congress news there being split potentially, right? And President Trump doing a lot better than expected, and the markets were going ballistic. We saw a massive gap up. S&P ran pretty much all day. We topped at about 34.86, which from yesterday's close, guys, that's over a 100 point pop there. That's about 120 points, up about 3.4% from yesterday's close to the high of the day today, which is unbelievable. Then we ended up closing on a little downswing, but ultimately, guys, we're pretty much, I don't want to say fully back in the uptrend, but we're pretty much there, let's be honest. I mean, we broke out of the main moving averages today, both the 50 and the 180 SMA, with this massive gap up. We ended up doing exactly as I illustrated in yesterday's video with this arrow. You guys can see that. I drew that yesterday, so we ended up playing that out perfectly, and we ended up taking out some key resistances. I mean, a big one here was 34.60 from back towards the middle end of October, right? We didn't end up closing above it, but the fact that we did take it out higher high above it today, that is a good sign. And I would honestly like to see the S&P tomorrow, maybe even Friday, end up going above 34.60 to remain this bullish momentum, or to keep it, right, the bullish momentum. So we saw a very nice day, S&P 500, and when it comes down to SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P, I know you guys watch this, some of you more than the S&P index itself, we ended up doing the same thing on the 4-hour chart. We broke the 50 SMA, the 180 SMA. We ended up taking out big resistance levels, 340. Another big one was 342, 343, and we ended up breaking out of 345, and we hit a higher high above it, but like the S&P index, we didn't hold that level as a support. So on SPY here, this is a key spot. We need to see 346 break, maybe tomorrow, the next day, next week, who knows, in order for this bullish momentum to remain, right? But overall, guys, 4-hour chart is looking like we're finally reversing out of the overall downtrend here. And when it comes down to the Dow Jones ended up breaking out of not 70,000, guys. Imagine the Dow was 70,000. Dow Jones broke 27,500, which that was a big level we talked about yesterday, right? We pretty much closed at that point yesterday. It was a resistance from back in the beginning of June. We broke out of it. Now we're trading in the middle of this channel here from 27,500 up to about 29,000. So I'd watch this point here on the Dow resistance at about 29,000. I think if we can break, let me draw this next big resistance right now. I think if we can break 28,200, which is about 400 points away, I think that would be the last stand between, obviously, where we are now and 29,000. So I'd watch heavily 28,200 or 28,200 here on the Dow Jones. That is a big resistance. And when it comes down to the NASDAQ 100, what can I say, guys? Big tech was just disgusting today. I mean, Facebook up 8%, Amazon up 6%, Google 6%, Microsoft 5%, Apple 4%, and Netflix 2%. And again, the futures yesterday, last night, I mean, they were exploding as the election was taking off, right? So at this point, the NASDAQ 100 is still, let me just redraw this right here, it's still at a pretty big resistance, believe it or not. Yeah, we did break 11,500, which we talked about yesterday in the past couple of days. That's very good on this 4-hour chart. We gapped up above both moving averages as well, which is also really good. But if I draw this out right here, we're technically still at a lower high right now based on this 4-hour chart. The next big resistance I would love to see the NASDAQ 100 break would be around 12,000. I think if 12,000 can break, we fill up the gap to 12,000 from where we are now, and 12,000 breaks, that is where I think we could see a huge rally, an even further rally here in the NASDAQ 100, especially if Congress remains split, as that is going to be harder for sweeping legislation against the big tech names, as a lot of these people in Congress, they want to break down some of these companies because a lot of them, people are saying they're monopolies, like Amazon, Google, and Facebook, right? These are companies that a lot of people in Congress want to break apart. So having a split Congress is very good for these big tech names, hence why the rally in those stocks, and hence the rally here in the NASDAQ 100. So that's kind of the rundown of today. Massive green here. And the question here is the million-dollar question, is this going to continue? And the truth is, nobody knows. For all we know, if Biden wins, the market could go down. If Trump wins, the market could continue to go up, and vice versa. Nobody knows, guys. I'm not some guru. I'm just here breaking down what's in front of me. And at this point, we, on the NASDAQ, again, we're not fully out of the downtrend quite yet, so we have to play it the way it is there. S&P is slowly getting out of the downtrend, but still it's at a lower high as well. And same thing with the Dow Jones. So we have to be careful here with these stocks in the markets, because for all we know, we could easily go back down and maybe not retest the lows from a couple days ago, but we might see a bit of a red day. Who knows? Or a couple of red days, especially if the election, the winner is drawn out for the next couple of days, maybe 10 days, maybe a couple days, as they're counting up these ballots, recounting in a couple of states. So let's talk a little bit about the election here. So I'm going to pull this up. And at this point, let me refresh this. This has Biden at 264 electoral votes and Donald Trump at 214. And at this point, the key states are Michigan, which, now that I'm looking at this, it looks like Biden has officially won Michigan, which is 16 points. He just got those 16 points. I think he was at 248 before. So the key states are Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. So at this point, Trump needs to win Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and he needs to win Nevada, because, guys, take a look. Nevada is 6 electoral points, whatever the heck you want to call it. And he's at 264 right now, Biden. So if he wins Nevada, it's over. 270, he's the president from what I have here, right? From what I'm seeing in front of me. So Trump needs to win all of these states. If Georgia, that's 16, North Carolina, that's 15, so that's 31, plus Pennsylvania, that is what? 31 plus 20, that's 51. 51 plus 6, what is that? 57 electoral votes. Would that put him above? Yeah, that would put him above that 270 threshold, and Trump would win. So at this point, if Biden simply wins Nevada, he's president. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada, he's president. So at this point, guys, it's favoring Biden. No doubt about it. Biden is in the lead. He is likely to win. And I forgot about Alaska here. There are only 3 electoral votes. This state closed voting yet. Here it says 50% reported. So, I mean, yeah, I guess Alaska's in the mix, but Trump looks like he has Alaska in the bag as well. And he's actually leading Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. So the fact that maybe he does win, that's still on the cards, but again, it's more likely that Biden is going to win. And he actually said, President Trump today, that the Trump campaign said it had filed lawsuits. He's actually filing lawsuits to halt the counting of ballots in Michigan and Pennsylvania as the campaign demanded increased access to observe the tallying process at numerous locations in those battleground states. So he's in litigation with Michigan and Pennsylvania, right? And the Trump campaign also said that its lawsuits demands that the campaign be allowed to, quote unquote, review these ballots which were opened and counted while we did not have meaningful access. So he's really trying to do at this point whatever he can do to swift and change the states counting, not change the counting process, but he wants a lot of the states to recount. And at this point, it's got to come down to Pennsylvania, and a lot of their votes remaining are the mail-in ballots, and most of them, from what I've been hearing, are coming from Philadelphia, and that's a very big Democratic city. So he might not even win Pennsylvania over these next couple of days as those votes get counted up. So it's a big mess right now, guys. It's a big mess. There's a lot of chaos. And again, I'm not some election expert. I'm just reading what's in front of me right here. And I'd love to know your thoughts down below. But at this point, it's looking like Joe Biden is going to be president. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think. So, yeah, I mean, keep an eye on that. And the markets are not a sure thing to just explode higher just because we've had a couple of green days. Just keep that in mind, guys. For all we know, we could get a new president and the market could take another big hit. We just don't know, which is why cash is important, having that cash, and also having just the peace of mind that we are going to have volatility. Come to peace with it. Understand that we're in chaotic times, and don't make irrational decisions based on what's going on right now. So we would normally do a trading update right now, but I personally, guys, just wrote out my positions today. I didn't do much. I didn't add anything, but I'm personally in Apple AAPL, which is doing well. And I don't want to dive too deep into these because nothing much has changed, and I want to focus on some other stocks, but all I'm in is Apple and EA, as well as, and by the way, EA had a very good day today, up about 4%. They report earnings tomorrow. And Workhorse as well, guys. I'm also in this, which had a massive swing today. Workhorse was actually up to almost $20 a share pre-market. It was up like over 10%, and it closed down 10% to at about $16. So it went from almost 20 down to 16. That is a crazy swing right there when it comes to Workhorse. So let me know in the comments, guys, your thoughts on the election, the market, what direction are we headed? And yeah, 400 likes. We got to get 400 likes, guys. Make sure to hit that like button while you're at it. So let's talk about some earnings. We had Qualcomm today, guys. The two earnings we're going to talk about today, we actually called it yesterday. Not saying that I called out the massive explosion, but we talked about both of these stocks and mentioned how, especially the second one we're going to talk about, we mentioned how there's upside. And Qualcomm was the first one, and you guys can see after hours, it's up $20 a share, up about 12%, which is unbelievable. They had EPS of $1.45 versus $1.17 estimated, and revenue came in at $8.3 $1.35 billion, and I'm not too sure what the estimate there was, but it doesn't matter because the stock, guys, after hours, it is going haywire. So Qualcomm at this point, I mean, I'm not looking to really force anything. I feel like the boat has been missed. The boat has sailed. We've popped 12% after hours. So if you're already in, congratulations. You're making a ton of money. But for me, I'm an outsider. I'm not already in. I'm probably just going to wait it out and see what ends up happening at these high levels at about $130, $132. So guys, or not even $132, that's the high here after hours. We're almost to $150. So the stock's going to be very overbought rather tomorrow, no doubt about it. So maybe if we cool off a bit, we could end up getting in on a dip buy, maybe a scalp play, some sort of momentum tomorrow. But overall, Qualcomm, guys, with 5G coming, it's awesome. It's awesome, guys. It's going to be a pretty good ride there with Qualcomm, in my opinion. And that's actually pushing up some other stocks. Let me see. Is Intel up after hours? Potentially a little bit. Let's see if AMD's up after hours a little bit. It is almost up to 82. So, yeah, watch out for these stocks tomorrow, guys. No doubt about it. And the second one, which we talked about, guys, and this thing is going bananas. I mean, we talked about this. This is a perfect scenario stock for where we're living right now. Freelance work. More people are going online, hiring people for jobs, either across the country, overseas, whatever, through the internet, and that's Upwork, UPWK. And this is a stock that you guys know if you've been tracking my channel for a while, for a couple months. We've been talking about Upwork since the 13s, 14s, 12s, $15 range, ever since it went down after its previous earnings report, which was pretty solid in itself. And you guys can see, I mean, we ended up going up to about $22 ever since previous earnings report. We pulled down. We talked about this at about $18, $19 on this 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, and now it's gone up to $26.50 after hours, after it closed at $20 today, guys. And it is selling off a bit to about $24 after hours, but still, it's up an enormous amount. Unbelievable. So Upwork had EPS of 4 cents versus the negative 8 cents estimated. So is that a surprise profit? I mean, they might have just pulled a surprise profit there, which is incredible. And revenue came in at $96.7 million versus $90.44 million estimated. So very solid earnings there from Upwork. It's looking like, is there guidance up for next quarter, next year? Very well it could be. Oh, here they are. The company issued quarter 4 and full year sales guidance above estimates. There we go. What did I say? I mean, this is what you'll see in the markets, guys. Whenever a company reports good earnings and good guidance, that is something that the market, investors, traders, they absolutely love. So kudos to Upwork and Qualcomm, investors, traders that held through earnings. You guys are doing fantastic right now, and I'm truly happy if you guys are doing well with those stocks. So let's talk about some other ones here, guys. We have Etsy, ticker symbol ETSY. Etsy ended up going up 4.4% today. They actually reported earnings last week, back in the end of October, a couple days ago. They ended up going a little bit higher after earnings, but still, we're actually in this wedge where I think there's a lot more upside on Etsy. I see this big resistance coming up. We might test it tomorrow, or maybe even on Friday, or maybe even some point next week, right around 140, where I think we might end up seeing a breakout to the high 150s, especially if we get some sort of second wave. I mean, it's arguably we're in a second wave, but if we see some sort of lockdown or shutdown, whatever you want to call it, and in general, I mean, we are seeing e-commerce companies do better, obviously, but if we get a situation where we have to stay at home again, and these companies and people are out there buying online and stuff, a company like Etsy, Amazon, Chewy, these online e-commerce companies, they're going to do well. So I think Etsy has an opportunity to get back up 140s, 150s, no doubt about it. And AMD, we briefly touched on it before. It's up to almost $82 here after hours. And honestly, despite it not seeing a pull down in, 48 hours pretty much, it's gone straight from 74 up to 82. That's a big move and just under 48 hours of about 10%. I think there's still upside despite it going up that much. I think we could still get out, and especially if we get out of 82, 83, big resistance here, I think we could see a potential move to the high 80s, maybe even back to the 90s. And again, probably not with a straight shot up because we haven't pulled down, but with a couple pull downs in between, I think we could get back up mid 80s, high 80s here on AMD, and maybe even back to the 90s. And another one here is the MJ stock CGC, and all MJ stocks in general, guys. I'm keeping my eyes on them, especially if Biden's able to win. CGC and all of these sold off today, and probably in anticipation, not in anticipation, but in reaction to Trump doing a bit better than people thought. And obviously, a Trump presidency wouldn't be as good as a Biden presidency for these different stocks. So we're seeing CGC down a good chunk. Today down 7%. Overall, it's down about 11-12% from its peak yesterday. So I think overall, this higher low we're seeing being made here on the 4-hour chart, and if we zoom in on the hourly chart, you guys can see it. It's holding, right? And I think if we break $20 flat, we could easily be filling the gap up to $21 and maybe even higher again on a Biden victory. That would be fantastic if we're able to break 21, and there's a lot of upside there. So I'm watching CGC like a hawk. Another one here is Work, ticker symbol WORK. It's downtrending. It's not as attractive as some of these other plays, but it's still overall holding a big support here. It's been holding it at about $24-25. We just broke above $26. We held above it. That's good. So the next big gap I'm looking to fill is about 28 to about 28.50 here. So I'm watching Work, Slack Technologies. It's beaten down, and I think it's bound to recover soon. And another one which is reporting earnings tomorrow is Square. Saw a nice rally today, up 8.2%. We almost broke 170, or actually we did, and after hours we're above 170, 171, big resistance here. So for tomorrow, I'd like to see a clean-cut break out of 170, and then from there, especially with good earnings, I mean, we could get momentum, maybe not back to the 190s, that's probably a little unrealistic, but I can see us getting momentum from 170, maybe up to this resistance here, 178, 177. You guys can see it on this 4-hour chart. That could be a spot where Square ends up filling. And another one here is JP Morgan. This will probably do better if somehow Trump is able to pull a victory. And let's take a look at this real quickly. Let's refresh and see what's going on. Yeah, same number of votes there. But if we get a Trump victory, check out for financials. And also, you guys have to check out healthcare stocks as well, which we'll get into here in a second. But JP Morgan, I think anything above 104, 105 could be breakout territory, maybe back up to the mid 110s, maybe 110 flat. We have to see. So watch out for JP Morgan. Another one to watch out for is AbbVie, which, guys, crushed it today. Healthcare did very well. I'm an owner of AbbVie. I'm very happy about that, up 7.4%. UNH is another one here, United Health Group, up about 10%. Unbelievable. And J&J didn't do as well, but still it's worth watching here under a big resistance at 143, 144. If it breaks, that could have some upside. And Uber and Lyft, guys, Uber and Lyft, they did the impossible. And I don't want to say the impossible, but they ended up going so well today, up 15% for Uber, and Lyft ended up going up about 11%. And let's talk about quickly why this happened. So this year, California enacted a labor law known as AB5 that targeted the rideshare platforms that sparked intense backlash among the state's freelancers and not just Uber and Lyft drivers themselves. The law mandates that companies reclassify many independent contractors as full-time employees, which kind of destroys Uber and Lyft's business models, and it makes them eligible for health benefits, minimum wage guarantees, workers' compensation, and a slew of other labor protections. In May, California sued Uber and Lyft for violating the controversial AB5 labor law. On August 10th, a California judge issued a preliminary injunction against the two ride-hailing firms. The ruling ordered the companies to immediately stop classifying drivers as independent contractors. In reacting to the ruling, Lyft announced plans to suspend its service in California, but a California appeals court issued an emergency court order blocking the injunction later that day. The ruling averted a shutdown in service of the popular rideshare apps in the state. Fast forward to today, guys, to Election Day and yesterday, and California voters rolled back these regulations for the rideshare companies by approving Proposition 22. The state ballot measure provides wage protections and other benefits to app-based drivers while maintaining their independent contractor status. So, woo, that was a mouthful. And to sum it up, guys, this is very good for Lyft. They can keep their independent rider status, which, again, if they go to regular employees, it's going to ruin their business model. So kudos to Lyft and Uber. Lyft at this point, big resistance at about $30. I really wouldn't touch it until it breaks out of there. And plus, we have earnings coming up here on the 10th, which is roughly a week away. Next Tuesday. And Uber, their earnings are coming up as well. Earnings on Uber on the 5th, so tomorrow Uber's reporting, and Uber ended up breaking out of $38, big resistance, filled the gap all the way up to about $41. So at this point, I don't want to chase Uber. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't want to chase it. I feel like the move has been made. We talked about exactly this move yesterday, I believe, on the video before that. We talked about how watch for this wedge to break, watch for 38 to fill, and if 38 breaks, watch for 41 to fill. I mean, it all panned out, and I didn't get in, so I missed the move. So what's the point of forcing it? But hey, we're going to be watching it regardless. And all the other stock, I mean, to name some other stocks, we mentioned a ton already in this video, but I'm watching big tech. Like I mentioned earlier, right? We have a huge I guess you can say advantage here of Congress potentially remaining split, which won't make it easy for them to pass through laws that can break down the monopolies here, or the potential monopolies that these businesses have made. So big tech's doing well, so I'm keeping my eyes on Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Netflix. So that's it for this video, guys. We talked a ton. Let's see how long we did. 26 minutes. I fit it in 30 minutes, guys, like the goal was for the video. So yeah, the markets, they're crushing it. The election is still going on. Who knows when the winner will be announced? Maybe Friday. I think that's when Pennsylvania said they're going to be done counting the ballots. So we just have to wait and see. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe. And by the way, guys, let's get 400 likes on this video, and check out the Strive Smart Discord chat and Facebook group, link down below in the description box. And make sure to also get your 3 free stocks from WeBull, valued up to $1,600. All you got to do is deposit $100 into that account. You get 3 free stocks, and I also get 3 free stocks since it is an affiliate link. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, be safe out there. Don't rush the decisions in the market. Just keep it patient. Be safe. And yeah, thanks for watching. As always, peace out, guys.